And just like that, I'm back. It's only been a few seconds. I haven't even put the ribs on yet. We're talking about spray bottles. What you can do with beef ribs, you could also do this for pork ribs. I don't usually do this for pork ribs because pork ribs are a lot smaller than beef ribs. You don't have the long bones. You can spray them. And if you're going to spray them during the cook, use an apple cider vinegar. Now, are your ribs going to taste like apple cider vinegar? No, they're not, actually. They may have a little bit of apple flavor, but they're not going to taste vinegary. Especially if you're going to sauce them. But what you could do is spray them every 20 to 30 minutes. That also will keep them moist. I'm not doing that because I don't have a spray bottle. And right now I don't also think I have any apple cider vinegar. So I need to make sure I put that on my list. This is true, and I will show you a brisket. I'm going to do a brisket start to finish. I don't have that coming up right now because we're going into February, and February can be a really cold month. And brisket, because the brisket takes so long on the grill to smoke, I need it to be warm outside. So I'm going to wait till the weather starts to really get nice. And we're going to do brisket. That's going to be a very long cook. Usually I start a brisket. Sometimes I'll start it before I go to bed. Other times I'll get up at like 2 in the morning, put the brisket on it, and it'll go all day long. So that's a really, really, really long video. One thing that we are going to do probably right after the 1st of February is I'm craving a meatloaf. I know my husband loves my meatloaf. I'm going to teach you how to make a meatloaf the best way I know how, and it will be amazing. It'll be a very, very juicy meatloaf to do. So we're going to do meatloaf coming up. I really need to go to the grocery store at the beginning of the month and get a few staple items. Also, items that we're going to need to make meatloaf. In my meatloaf, I do ground beef, I do ground pork, I also do ground veal, and I'll give you the measurements of each. It's usually 1 pound to half pound, so it's 1 pound of ground beef, half a pound of ground pork, half a pound of ground veal, and I mix those 3 up, and those are my meatloaf packs. And you really don't taste the ground pork or the veal that much in the meatloaf because it's just a really good flavor. But that'll be another video. So let's go put the ribs on. And I apologize, I'm gonna not be able to do this. I'm gonna turn you so you can kind of see. I'll come and get you because this is so heavy. Let me pull these out, and my grill did get a little bit hotter than it should. Okay, let me go grab you guys. Yeah, my grill actually shot up from 300 to where it's at 450. So that I'm not so much worried about, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an adjustment here. When I put the ribs on, this is actually going to drop again. So I'm going to close the bottom, and I don't know if you can see this. What I did up here and down here down here and up there is I adjusted the airflow. Like right now it just dropped. And it's actually currently dropping. It's going into the 400 range. So it's dropping the temperature of the grill. And that's how I adjust. Now if I had the smoke pot out here, I wouldn't have to do this. It would do it for me. And it's actually at 375. So I'm going to open this up. And you're going to notice a lot of smoke. That's the smoking flavor. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our ribs. And I got to get these back in here. Okay, that's like that, like that. And I'm going to put this over the drip pan. I'm just going to close this. Okay, my grill dropped to 300 degrees. But it'll go up. So we're going to keep, actually I'm going to shut this a little bit more because now I don't want the temperature raising all that much. So it's barely, I barely have it open, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. I don't know if you can see the little tiny gap, and you can see my grill is holding at it's a little tiny smidgen over 300. That's fine. If I can keep it in that range for the next 2.5 hours, that'll be perfect, and my ribs will come out really, really good. Let me wash my hands because I did touch the meat again. So basically, I'm sorry it's a little dark in here. I don't have any of the lights on. Basically, that's all there is to ribs. You don't really want to check them, meaning you don't want to open the vents, and you don't want to open the grill while the meat is cooking, because if you do and you add airflow to it, what's going to happen is you're going to get a higher temperature, and you could overcook the ribs. So nice and slow is the way to go. What you want to do for the next 2.5 hours is periodically just check the temperature. If the temperature drops, if it drops, open up your vents. If you've opened up your vents and your temperature just is not able to get up, then you want to look and see, do I have enough charcoal, or has all of my charcoal burnt out? This is more for long cooks. I don't think I really have to worry today about that because I have enough wood in the firebox to do this. And I'm just going to take a quick peek. We're holding at 300 degrees, so there's really nothing for me to do. About every half an hour, I'm going to check. Like I said, when you first put your ribs on, you do not want to add liquid. Let them get the smoky flavor, because once you add liquid to it, your smoke is going to get a lot heavier and condensed with the liquid. So you don't want to add liquid right away. If you don't want to use the beef stock, you can definitely just use water. You can use a little apple juice. You can do a combination of apple and beef stock. I don't think I have any beef gravy. I think my husband used all of the beef gravy, but I do have beef stock. So if I use the beef stock, I'm not going to use the whole container, and I'm going to show you the beef stock. I'll be right back. Sorry about that dead air. It took me a minute to get this out. I always keep both beef and chicken stock in my pantry. You can get them in the can. I get them in the container. You can add a little bit of this to that. If you want to make gravy, you can make gravy out of this. This makes actually really good gravy. You want stock. You don't want beef soup. You want the stock. The stock is actually what you're going to start your gravy with. Can you use other stuff? Yes, you definitely can use other stuff to make stock. Usually the beef stock also is a good starter for soups. But I always keep, like I said, I keep chicken and I keep beef in my pantry because you never know when you're going to need it for certain things. Obviously, I'm not using chicken because this is beef, so the chicken is for chicken dishes or for poultry. The beef is for beef. So, that's it in a nutshell. We're going to just let these ribs go for about 2.5 hours. So, come back. I might do quick videos in between, but we're going to let this go. It's almost 2 o'clock, so about 4:30, we're going to check the ribs and see how they are. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm doing a quick tidbit. I just posted the prime rib video that you are currently watching. I did notice that I was going to talk about doing the mashed potatoes, and I didn't finish. You didn't get a final product of the prime rib. It came out really good. Unfortunately, the next video you see, which will, I think, be the lamb chop video, you'll see me do the asparagus. So you'll get to see the asparagus being made in the toaster oven with the Parmesan cheese. With the mashed potatoes, I'm actually doing ribs tonight. I'm doing a beef rib that are already on the grill and have been on the grill almost an hour. We're going to make mashed potatoes tonight. So, once I post the ribs video, you guys will actually see how we do our mashed potatoes. It's actually relatively easy. Same method that I did when I did the prime rib roast. I'm gonna quarter my red potatoes. I'm gonna boil them for 25 minutes. When they're done cooking and are fork tender, when I can stick a fork all the way through and they're soft, we're gonna drain off all of the water. What my husband does is he adds about 4 tablespoons of butter, sometimes a little bit more, and then instead of using milk, a lot of people conventionally use milk. My husband uses sour cream in place of the milk. He uses, I would say, 2 heaping tablespoons, sometimes a little bit more. It all depends on how many potatoes you're making, but add the sour cream and then mash your potatoes. If your potatoes are really thick and need to be thinned out a little bit, add a little bit more sour cream to it. You're going to get a really, really, really creamy potato. You're also going to get a delicious potato. The sour cream makes a huge difference when you're making mashed potatoes. And that's a tidbit that I found out from my husband. I never did that. I was always conventional with the butter and milk, because that's how my grandmother and my family have made mashed potatoes for years. I love mashed potatoes. I absolutely love this one. You can also, if you want to doctor your mashed potatoes up a little bit, you can put, while they're still hot and you're mashing them, you could throw in a little bit of cheddar cheese and make them a cheesy mashed potato. You could put bacon bits in them and make a loaded mashed potato. We don't really do that much, but the sour cream is the biggest difference. So the next time you're making mashed potatoes with a meal, instead of using milk, if you have sour cream, put that in. You'll thank me later for that. Anyway, that was just a precursor. I'm not really going to show you how to do that. You might get that on the beef rib video, so stay tuned for that. That's coming up probably towards the end of this week. It is Sunday, so that'll be posted on probably towards next weekend, because I've got a couple of videos that I've done that need to be shown before this, before the rib video, and in between the prime rib and the rib video. So stay tuned.